Turnaround, it's that thing at the end of the 12-bar blues. All right, you've got you've got your 4, then you got your 2, and then you've got your 2.
All right, so I'm already going through the whole thing here, talking about it. This is just to let you know what's coming up here. This is me kind of being a smart ass. All right, somebody was complaining about something that I did, so I figured I'd pull up ChatGPT and have it as my guest for to talk about what the turnaround is. And the information actually wasn't that bad. ChatGPT can be useful for certain stuff. It sucks for others, though. But anyway, I'm going to hit play and we're going to listen to it a little bit. We're going to listen to me trying to explain what the turnaround is.
Basically, it's those last 2 to 4 bars of your 12-bar blues. All right.
It's the end of the 12 bars where you go back to just before you go back to the beginning, you got to have a way of getting back to the beginning. So kind of picture it as you're on a playground, you're running around, you climb up, you go through the jungle gym, and then you get to the slide. The slide gets you down to the beginning, and you start running around all over again. You remember doing that as a kid.
And what it comes down to is turnaround is kind of a flourish. Turnaround is kind of the punchline of the 12-bar blues. So I wanted to ask our expert friend here, ChatGPT, to explain what the turnaround was. Hey there. All right, can you give us a quick explanation of what the turnaround is on 12-bar blues?
Absolutely. So in a 12-bar blues, the turnaround is basically those last couple of bars that set you up to go back to the beginning of the progression. It's like a little musical cue that says, hey, we're wrapping this cycle up and about to start again. Usually you hit the V chord and then resolve back to the 1 chord, maybe with a little flourish or riff, and that's what gives it that signature bluesy loop.
All right, so there you go. That was actually a really concise description of what the turnaround is. Turnaround is just obnoxious to explain to people. You can play it for them, but they're not necessarily going to get it until you play it for them. You can explain it all you want.
All right, so what you're saying is when you get to those last 2 measures of playing the
background music's just about to hit it. That was a turnaround for that.
12-bar blues. Well, those last 2 bars of playing the 12-bar blues, you're kind of flourishing through what is it the 4 and then back to the 1, or is it 5, 4, and 1? Is it a half measure of this, half measure of that, or is it just everything all at once?
Yeah, you got it. It's kind of like a little recipe that can vary. Usually it's something like a V chord for a bar and then resolving back to the 1 chord, or maybe you throw in a little 4 chord in there for a half measure. It's really flexible. The main idea is just that you're doing a little flourish over those last 2 bars to signal, all right, we're heading back to the top. So you can mix it up a bit, and that's part of the fun.
All right, I think that's pretty cool. So just as an idea, doing sort of like a chord, like doing a scale going down. That's a good example of trying to do a flourish at the end of the 12 bars.
Absolutely, that's a perfect example. Doing a little descending scale or a quick melodic run at the end of those 12 bars is a classic turnaround move. It kind of adds a bit of personality, really ties a nice bow on that progression before you jump back in. So yeah, that's a great way to do it.
All right, thanks.
You're so welcome. Glad I could help. If you need anything else, just let me know, and happy play.
So yeah, if you haven't guessed yet, ChatGPT is actually a really useful tool these days for learning 12-bar blues and, well, really learning how to play harmonica, learning a lot of different stuff. It's actually been pretty helpful for me in general as far as figuring out what I'm going to talk about. Let's go ahead and hop into my MP3s here, and we are going to get a sample of 12-bar blues. Let's see.
Okay, I'm going to bounce forward on this because I'm just literally talking through the whole thing. And if I'm going to do it, I may as well use the Jam Zone stuff. So, but let me skip forward a little bit here.
That was an example right there of a...
You know what? Here comes a turnaround right about now. So yeah, that was a turnaround at the very end of it. So I'm gonna go ahead back
of a turnaround for you. So a lot of times when I'm doing a turnaround, you know, I'm following along with what's going on in the 12 bar. So I'll just do, you know, I'll just do a flourish like that. So really what it comes down to is when it comes to doing the turnaround, that last bit, really everything's just a guideline. Don't overthink it, just feel it. All right, now I wanted to remind everybody, pick up the harmonica. That's linked in the description.
All right, I'm gonna pause that a little bit. I'm gonna bounce back here on the jam track and turn it back up so we can hear a turnaround. There you go. That was it right there. I'll bounce it back again. This is the 5-1-4-5. That's a 5-4, and then a turnaround, and then back to the beginning. Actually, you know what? Let's see if I can switch over to Jam Zone view. There we go. May as well give you a little bit extra here. This is it right here. So I'm gonna back this up. Probably do around there. That was 4, and then we're back to 1. That's 5. That's 4. And that's 1. And then the turnaround. Now this is the same with every key, so let me bounce it up. D flat. Let me bring it all the way back to the beginning here. See, 1 for 4 counts, and then up to 4, and then back down to 1. Up to 5, back down to 4, and then down to 1, and then we're going to do a turnaround. There we go. Let's go up another key. So we are doing key of D. This is why I like Jam Zone so much. See, you can see the counts on the screen. Back up 1, back down to and back down to 1, and then a simple turnaround. Now this is true across the board here, so I'm gonna go ahead and stomp this. Actually gonna drop it back down. Stomp that, bounce out of here. Say I've got blues in A and blues in C. I'll go to my happy place. Let's go to shotgun blues. Here's shotgun blues. I'll go ahead and grab all that stuff and hit play. Crank it up. See? We got the bars on and everything. We're going up to 4. Then back down to 1. Taking pills and cheap whiskey. Back down to 4. And back down to 1. And here's your turnaround. And we're back down to 1. That was your turnaround there. And that's one of the nice things about this format. You notice that those horns really kicked in with it, with that nice swell. That's what's cool about the structure of it, is everybody knows how to do it, and you can do different things every single set of 12 bars. You can just mess around with it all you want. Let's go ahead and change the key. Now I have this currently set up so that I can blow harp to the solo, but here. See, all right, let's go ahead and take this back down a little bit. And that's Jam Zone, and that's the reason why I use Jam Zone. So once again, I will go ahead and throw that QR code on there. Transition on over. There you go. I am going to do an in-depth on Jam Zone very soon, because it's just such a useful tool for practicing and learning. So I'm going to go ahead and take that back off of there. Actually, you know what? Nah, I'm just going to bounce back over.
Hey everybody.
To me.
Welcome to day 12 of Learn Blues Harmonica in 30 days. Today we're going to have
So, if you got any questions, just hit me up. I'd be happy to answer all your questions. You have a good one.